Hey there, my name is Pravus and welcome to more Kingdoms Reborn, playing as the Emirates. Sorry, I forgot to hit my record button, so I played for a few seconds here, but I don't think you guys missed too much. So we actually made a pretty good amount of progress in the last week. We've certainly got a lot of the basics set up. Our population has been steadily growing. We are producing a lot of the raw materials that we are going to be looking for, but of course, that extra consumption rate, we are still struggling on several fronts. For example, always struggling to produce enough food, enough coal, enough stone, enough clay, pretty much everything. The only thing that's really keeping me afloat right now is the fact that I'm reasonably good at trade and selling off extra wool in order to make a pretty good amount of money. Did buy out a couple more tiles down over here, by the way, just spent some of that influence. I mean, really, I don't see any reason why not to just go ahead and do that, but, you know, that is a thing. Just wanted to make sure that we had a little bit more income coming in from some of these tiles. We could actually expand a fair bit out in a couple more directions, like coffee and stuff, or maybe start working towards some cotton, but I don't have a good way to farm any of that yet, so I think we'll wait for a little bit longer. So let's see, I have been changing up some job priorities. My primary goal right now is to produce basically fuel and food at all costs. That is the primary thing. Everything else takes a backseat, including, unfortunately, some of these stone tools that I really do need to be producing, but for now we've had to buy iron tools because I just don't have enough workers to keep this going. It says I've got 25 laborers. I have a hard time understanding how that's possible. That's weird. For some reason, we're just not producing this stuff. Huh, okay. Well, we could fix that to an extent. We did just, get the iron working, which is great, so we could start making some iron ores into iron bars. Does not make the tools that I need, that's the blacksmith, but this at least would turn iron to something more useful. Also, we just increased our wood harvesting. We could go for logistics, and what this would do is draw materials like lumber, like stone, to a target location. For example, place this next to the Stone Tools Workshop, and we could save a lot of running around and gathering up materials. Not a bad idea. I guess I'll go ahead and work on that. That is not the same, by the way, as some of the other things like logistics 2, 3. There's something else we can actually have people haul. Yeah, the logistics office here just hauls specified resources. This is... Oh, no, I'm sorry. I've got these backwards. This is the one that draws specific resources to a certain area. This just has people hauling resources at a more efficient rate. Still worth getting, because I think your average citizen can carry 10 resources of any kind. And a person working in the hauling workshops and stuff can do like 50. So it's 5 times more effective as far as hauling materials around, which can make everything else just a little bit more effective. Do we want to go and vassalize some more people? We could go and vassalize these little guys over here. Hi. I see that you have a level 4 area right here. You got no wealth really to you, but that's because you just spent all of it getting to level 4, but I'll bet you that means you give me a lot of good stuff. Let's go ahead and toss a bunch of warriors into this, and it looks like, whoa, 12 militia. Okay, where are my other 4? I need you. The warriors over here are finishing up the last little bit of the raid treasure. Okay, we may need to start trading up some extra warriors and send them over there. It turns out that when these guys level up, they do get much stronger militias, and that is going to be a concern for me. I might just lose all my warriors if we're not fast on this. There's the 4 back. Let's go ahead and toss them into the fray. See how good they are. Did we already lose one? Doesn't look like it. I'm going to go ahead and toss them all in so we can do a lot more damage per hit. Looks like we are at least going to lose 1 warrior. Yeah, the good thing is these guys don't have as much health. So right now, my combat strength is significantly higher than theirs. We'll win this, but we also will probably lose a handful of units. I don't feel too bad about that. That's kind of fine. That's less upkeep. If I don't need it, why bother? Oh, I figured out why no one's working at the Stone Tools Workshop. Why was this set to 0 before? I have no idea how that could possibly have happened. It's still setting itself to 0. Can you please go to 100? Okay, now people are going to work here. No wonder I've been having all these tool issues. I don't know what happened there. How did that get set to 0? Whatever, it's going to be fine. All right, let's place some more houses along the coast over here, someplace lovely. We will want to save some room, though. It'd be nice to be able to place down another clay pit somewhere over here by a river, but maybe we'll end up doing it over here instead. I don't know, I'm just sort of anticipating we're going to end up needing that at some point. No reason to get some extra immigration at the moment. We're kind of keeping everything afloat as is. Every job that I need fulfilled is kind of being fulfilled. So we're actually in surprisingly an okay spot. Our population is stable-ish. What we need to do is just figure out food. If we can do that, we'll be fine. What I might want to do at some point is place down another forester over here, plus a load of fruit gatherers, because they do make a pretty good amount of food per worker. It's not too bad. That said, a couple things we can do. Let's change away from poison arrows on the hunting lodge, because that's costing me a lot of food, and I think as we've been building out, we've probably gotten rid of at least a handful of the animal burrows. So rather than lose half the food, I think we can go ahead and do this. And then as far as fruit gatherers, yeah, I mean, we could be meticulous, but meh. Let's go for delicate gathering for another 20% productivity over there, and that's just gonna have to be good enough for at least a little bit. How are we doing with our combat, by the way? The combat situation, are we doing all right? We lost a few guys? Oh, we lost a few. We're down to 5, but we've killed off 3 of theirs, and it looks like we are still winning this, so eventually we'll get them. We'll see what they're worth. Okay, what else can we research now that we're done with bricks? The market supplies household needs within a radius. Can be nice, similar to logistics. Yeah, border protection, place on a choke point for raid protection. I have no idea what that does, really. Protected provinces, however, give extra income. Okay, so you're saying just like the provincial income, right? We don't need to buy a brickworks yet. Let's take a look at this. For example, when I say base income, this is what I'm talking about. 3 times this value? Or are you saying in this province here, where I have a lot of people, would I increase their income by 3 times? That doesn't feel likely, but I'd be kind of curious to try. It is a new building, I believe. So there's the blacksmith, unhelpful until I actually can get iron bars. We could start making clothes out of wool, and I think we should go ahead and start learning how to do that. Turn the wool into something useful. Whether we need it right now is maybe a different question, but it would be nice. Let's see. Oh, clothes are a tier 2 luxury. Okay. I might use it for my people in order to help level up houses, or it's probably going to be worth even more money than the wool. We could start making some serious profit out of that with the right cards to improve its efficiency. Look at all these deer hanging out. How y'all doing? Just standing there, doing absolutely nothing? Y'all stuck? Oh, that's exciting. Hey, hunters, I found a huge pile of game. Go get them. Let's not forget, by the way, that we do have access to these trading companies, so I'm using the auto trade feature to go ahead and just start automatically exporting some of my excess wool. If we have 100 in inventory, cool, keep that. Anything excess of that, go ahead and sell off and try to make some money. Could do some auto imports as well, but surprisingly, we're doing okay on most of these. Clay, we're having a little bit of trouble. I'm surprised we're not making a lot more leather, by the way. But somehow that's just how it's going to work. All right, but that's fine. Could buy a bunch of wild cards, and honestly, they're so cheap, I think I will. And you know, I will buy another fruit gatherer. I think we're going to commit to this idea. Charcoal burner, definitely not worth it. Another sheep ranch, possible, but I think we pass on that for the moment. What else we got? More immigrants, don't need right now. Actually, yeah, kind of do need. But for 500 gold, you know, it's actually faster to just do this than wait for our immigration center. Let's just go ahead and use it. Another clay pit, I think, could be good. Another fruit gatherer. We'll do all of those, because if I want to get bricks up and running, I do need more consistent clay production. Let's go ahead and use the immigrant card. That is 5 extra immigrants. Whoa, somehow we went from 79 up to 88. It was supposed to only be 5 workers, so now we have a housing crisis again. I don't really know how that happened, but it did. Okay, I could use some of this. Is this some of this fertile? Could I use it for farming? No. So I guess I will go ahead and place down some housing over here, wherever I can fit it, which admittedly is not very many places. But we'll do that, and I can't fit any others over here immediately, can I? No, that would be too much to hope for. Could fit one over here, though, and I guess that's fine. Some appeal value. Sure, actually, let's go ahead and place down 2 of them. There we go. A couple more houses close to all of the working spots over here. Just go ahead and get that all up and a-rolling. Make sure that people are going to be taken care of. Food reserves are low. Yeah, I know. It's always low. It's always low. But this is why we have so much more farming going on. I'm producing lots of medicines. I'm trying to produce a whole load of agave. I'm even farming freaking cactus, for God's sake. You ever had a prickly pear? They're actually delicious, believe it or not. I like prickly pear. They're quite nice. But they're hard to harvest, so y'all better be dang grateful. I'm trying to solve your needs. But y'all just won't sit freaking tight. No, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Do you want to go ahead and buy a bunch more bricks? I might actually just go ahead and buy a handful more. It's not like it's that much money, but we could use some of these bricks to try and boost up at least a few more buildings, make them a smidge more useful to me. I think they changed up the trading company buildings at some point, by the way. It used to actually show like a progress bar when it was going to actually, you know, sell stuff, but for some reason I'm not seeing anything. By the way, what should we do? Do we want to go for Tequila Distillery? I mean, we are making agave now. I could technically make myself another luxury resource, which isn't a bad idea. I am curious about this whole border protection thing, though. Let's go ahead and get a fort. I just want to see what happens with it. We will buy a tailor card. Absolutely still worth it. And how are we doing on that invasion? Whoa! Things appear to have taken a bit of a turn for the worse. We have one guy left, and he is getting dunked on pretty bad. Hold up. It said that we had enough strength to beat them that I kind of figured that was actually going to be true, but it appears that that was a lie. So we're going to go ahead and start training up more warriors and toss them in and reinforce as fast as we can, just so we don't lose the battle, because I don't know if they reset their militia, but I imagine they do, and that would be really bad if that's the case. We need to keep reinforcing and trickle more units in until we win this. It's a sunk cost fallacy, but I've already invested enough in this that I'm really not willing to walk away. Okay, we have our border protection. I'm going to go ahead and research that Tequila Distillery. I've set up a couple of extra farms down over here in the fertile areas so we can farm up some extra agave. Hopefully set up a distillery down over here. So a fort costs 1,000 gold and has some upkeep. Build on a choke point to protect inner provinces. I don't know for sure what that means, though. So place it like out in, what's a choke point then? I'm guessing this has a lot to do with the movement of armies. So for example, would this be considered a choke point and it's harder to get into this area, thereby increasing my defense of this whole region? Possibly. Unfortunately, with the mountains being what they are, I don't think I can fit it. Oh, I take it back. I can fit it. Barely. But I can do this. Let's place down a fort. There we go. We have a coastal fort. We can now upgrade walls with extra HP. Also, the protection income pays for its upkeep. It's protecting one province. Huh. Well, I don't know what I did with that, but it seems cool, and it looks cool, so I'm going to go with it is cool. Okay, we can do a tailor. Tailors take 7 workers now? That could be crazy, but I don't think it used to be that way. Wow, that is pricey right there. Okay, so 42 wool would make 11 clothes. That is not a lot of clothes. We definitely would want to set a production target. We've got leather. We can alternate between the two because we do produce both. That's nice. But with 7 workers, I don't think there's any way I can afford that at the moment. We're going to have to finish building out other more important things first. I mean, getting steady bricks and stuff would be probably better for me right now. Very close to getting that 100 population we were looking for, by the way. And I am just now starting to produce enough luxuries consistently. It does help that I used some bricks to upgrade the potters and I made the potter towns. So that gave me a little bit of extra production in the case of both. It'd be really nice to have some sustainability books so we stop using up all of my clay. Frugality books, I feel like there's not as many uses for these as there used to be. I could be wrong, but I feel like even things like trade companies used to have the ability to reduce their upkeep. Right? But maybe I'm wrong on that point. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just trying to think, where would I reduce some dang upkeep? It's not that important. If I can't place it in things like ports, which is the most expensive option, then what's my option here? I don't know. Okay, so this doesn't do me much good. I still don't care about this. We're going to prioritize fruit trees, and we are going to prioritize planting above all else. We need to boost up our new hunter-gatherers plus our fruit gatherers. So between all of these, we're now able to produce a fair bit more food over there. And yeah, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with upkeep anymore. It used to be very useful in the early game. I feel like they removed some slots in a few spots, so it's just not that important anymore. Tequila time! Tequila! Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba. That's going to be the way to go here. We want to buy one? Absolutely we do. All right, Tequila Distillery we can place probably not immediately next to the granary, just so we don't take up its valuable radius space, but I think down over here seems completely reasonable. I am kind of assuming that houses don't really want to be located next to it, so there's that. We also need to buy some iron bars to make this work. I still don't know what to do about a spy center, by the way. I'm kind of waiting till we have a lot more building space before I place that thing down, because it doesn't seem like it's that high of a priority. Bought some iron tools, by the way, so let's go ahead and get, darn it, a couple more upgrades over with these guys so we don't lose track of any of that. And then, yeah, so we'll start producing tequila using my agave, of which I've got a lot. And interestingly enough, agave, apparently, is not an edible food. Makes sense. Now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever heard of anyone just eating a raw agave plant. That would be kind of gross. So we'll swap over to some more cactus fruit and just reduce how much we're producing. I may not need this many agave farms. We'll keep an eye on that, and if it looks like we're overproducing for one tequila distillery, I'll pull back. But that would imply to me that we actually have a pretty decent production of this, so maybe we can produce enough tequila to actually consistently keep people happy. Oh, we got a new card. Master Potter. Porter. We can go for 20% more efficiency on this. I mean, if I really want to commit hard to producing tons of clay and therefore tons and tons of pottery, it's not a terrible idea. I'm not sure it's the most important thing, though. At some point, we're supposed to get access to some sort of an archive, and some of these extra cards could get tossed into those. I'm loath to throw away what would otherwise be a unique card. We may not have a lot of choice later. We did get above 100 population, so that's done. I'm going to go ahead and turn back off the immigration office. I didn't want this to go too darn high. What else do we want to do? We are working on the Tequila Distillery, so this is going to be taken care of relatively soon. More farms. I mean, we've got reasonable average fertility in these areas, and the radius does extend out a fair bit more. So I think we might as well go ahead and place down at least a couple of these. And I'll set these guys to also make more cactus fruit. And I would say maybe medicinal herbs, but I feel like the food is just more important to get consistently than anything else. All right. So let's see what happens once we're done with this tequila distillery. Please tell me that doesn't also take 7 workers to man, because that would just be excessive, you know? I'm also running lower and lower on money. I had to buy out some of these tiles, trying to prevent these guys from expanding over here and taking territory that I otherwise might want. And I'm a little bit low on, I don't need this many immigrants at this point. I don't need... What was I trying to say? I don't have enough influence to sustain this. They're expanding rather rapidly. I'm trying to expand at a somewhat equivalent rate. By the way, notice that this level 3 guy over here has been getting increasingly valuable, an extra 46.7 influence now. That ain't half bad. And we're almost 40 minutes into recording this episode, and we're still not done over here, huh? Okay. Well, we're almost done. One last militia remaining, and then we're going to find out what happens when you vassalize a level 4 city. Okay, so the tequila distillery is up and running. It takes 24 agave to make 7 tequila, but that's before we even boost it. So we can reduce the input, we can improve the productivity, and if I had a lot more of these, we'd be able to produce tons more. 15, 30, and 45% productivity if you get 2, 4, and 8 distilleries. This could become valuable to me at some point, but we need our cards in order to make this truly worthwhile. All right. So we'll pay attention to this. It's a 2-to-1 ratio as far as agave turning into tequila. So theoretically, if I take a look at something like statistics, resources, let's see how much we produce. I produce... See, again, I don't... This is where statistics are not useful. I obviously don't produce 2 agave. Obviously. So, like, this is just straight out wrong. If we look here, though, yeah, it says still 3 production. That's because it just hasn't figured out how much we harvest. 76, 91, probably 91 and 91 as well, honestly, maybe a little bit less. So in theory, we're going to be producing somewhere around 300 agave, which means I can make about 150 tequila per year without any cards to boost it up. We, by the way, did just finish conquering that other little city-state over here, which is producing a whopping 140 influence. Hello. Well, that seems pretty good. I'm happy about that. We could conquer more people if I want to commit a lot more stuff into it. What about these guys? You have a couple of soldiers. You've got swordsmen and archers. So you're very far ahead of me in terms of, like, military technology is what you're saying. Not to mention, good lord, look at these borders sprawling all over the place. Yeah, the AI appears to be beating the snot out of me. I'm looking for anyone that's easy to vassalize, and I'm not really seeing it. Even Uppsala has this. We could vassalize more city-states, for absolute sure. We could do that, and I probably should. So I guess I will. Let's go ahead and conquer and vassalize. We'll train up some additional units, and hopefully this ends up being easy. 9 militia now. Why do I feel like they had less militia than this last time? I don't know, but... It costs some money to build these guys up, unfortunately, so that's part of the big draw on my gold. But it's okay. As long as we keep producing excess resources, we'll be fine. Something we really need to consider getting at some point very soon is actually going to be a furniture workshop. If we don't get some of these going, we're not going to be able to get a 3rd Tier 1 luxury, which means upgrading my houses is going to end up being a bit of a problem. So I'm thinking it may be time to go ahead and buy this. For some reason, we actually are producing a reasonable amount of lumber. I'm not sure how, because I don't I don't think I'm producing it anywhere. This is just sort of naturally happening as we chop down trees. But, yeah, we can consume at least a bit in favor of some furniture. So, let's see if we can find a good-ish place to deposit this. It's got to be somewhat far away from homes. We could do something like this over here. Hate to chop down some of these valuable orange trees. We kind of need to stop expanding in this area in general. But we'll place down at least a couple of storage yards over here. Can always try replacing that with a warehouse later. My idea is I want to be at least somewhat close to the primary storage in this area and the residential area, so when we produce furniture, people can quickly deliver it to their homes, and we'll be good to go there. I have unlocked the trade route. I have unlocked logistics too. Now we can go for foreign relations, which means I can start doing trade deals, diplomacy, and other minor city actions. I need to find out what this does. Also, what is spy nest? Convert enemies' houses into spy nests to steal influence from a target player. Well, that's interesting. And then there's the warehouse. That's pretty helpful. And then an embassy, I'm betting, is going to be one of those free buildings we can place down. A market would be great to have. However, it is just perfectly the wrong size. Oh, that does suck. I don't want to get rid of the library. I feel like the hauling service is kind of my only option to get rid of for now. So I'll move you out of here in favor of placing down the market that I was talking about. Get one of those up and running. And then, I don't know if we can fit this anywhere else. We could, if we're willing to get rid of some of this storage located here in an inconvenient spot. So we get rid of you, place this down over here instead, replace it with a couple storage yards like so, and we'll have some room over here for a warehouse or something else later if I want it. Apparently, we have the ability to now connect trade routes. What does this do? Need intercity road to establish the trade route. Connect your town hall to the town hall with a road. Interesting. I'm not sure I want to do this with these guys right now, but I'm betting this is where the whole export-import thing is going to come into play. So they're going to export iron ore for me, and they want to import some furniture. Maybe we can get preferential trade deals with them or something like that. I don't know. We are having some issues as far as my labor. Once again, I find myself in a situation where pretty much everyone is working and I am not able to do any construction jobs and continue to expand, including some of the housing, which I consider to be very important. My plan is to start turning this into a giant residential area, if we can. And all of this is working out very nicely over here, by the way. Do we even have very many non-fruit trees left? Because if not, we need to replace that with a granary again. Looks like no, we're almost done with this area, so I think it's almost time to get rid of that forester and see if we can get ourselves a little bit more food production by placing down a granary in its spot instead. That's a tried and true method. It's worked out fantastically so far. Oh, the furniture workshop's done. Fantastic. Let's toss a sustainability book in there so we can get a little bit more value. Let's boost up your work speed, reduce your input. So now 4 wood becomes 5 furniture. Can't do a furniture town, but this still is reasonable. An extra worker slot over here wouldn't be terrible if we have the extra workers to spare. And during the winter, we most definitely do. So let's go ahead and start producing another Tier 1 luxury. If we can't find a way to consistently get more Tier 1 luxuries, though, at some point what we're going to have to do is just start importing it. Because I really need my stuff to level up. We're getting to a point where I'm not going to be able to move on to get the Carpet Weaver, nor am I going to be able to move on to the Enlightenment Age until we start getting level 4 houses. So we need a lot more value out of that. Quick Build does mean nothing. Gold Smelter we don't need yet. I do think we want to go for probably Logistics next. Medicine Maker, we could get value out of that as well. Carpet has a 0% trading fee, would be interesting. What does it take to make carpet? I would guess some wool. That could make some sense. Maybe? I don't know. We'll find out. I am, by the way, vassalizing other states over here. Just trying to get as much value out of these guys as possible. So these guys are getting me extra 80 influence, for example, right here. And if we wanted to place down some intercity roads, apparently we could do some trade routes. These guys export stone, and once again, they do desire some furniture. What about the guys I'm conquering right now? They export pottery and also desire furniture. Turns out everyone wants furniture. Who would have known? That's interesting. We could also do a trade route with these guys. I'm not sure what I would do with a trade route with Uppsala, but I could do so. What I want to know is what it would take for me to get some wheat seeds. Because I know you can get those at the beginning of the game, but I didn't. So I'm wondering if I did something wrong and I should get wheat seeds so we could actually start working toward bread so I could solve this food situation once and for all. Alas, that wasn't an option, so I assume it'll pop up later. I'll do some research. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, I'd ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.